Once upon a time, not so long ago, there was a little girl, and her name was Emily. And she had a shop. There it is. It was rather an unusual shop because it didn't sell anything. You see, everything in that shop window was a thing that somebody had once lost, and Emily had found, and brought home to Bagpuss. Emily's cat, Bagpuss. The most important, the most beautiful, the most magical, saggy old cloth cat in the whole wide world. Well now, one day Emily found a thing. And she brought it back to the shop and put it down in front of Bagpuss, who was in the shop window, fast asleep as usual. But then Emily said some magic words. Bagpuss, dear Bagpuss, old fat furry cat puss, wake up and look at this thing that I bring. Wake up, be bright, be golden and light. Bagpuss, oh hear what I sing. And Bagpuss was wide awake. And when Bagpuss wakes up, all his friends wake up too. The mice on the mouse organ woke up and stretched. Madeleine, the rag doll. Gabriel, the toad.
Oh, look, look.
And last of all, Professor Yaffle, who was a very distinguished old woodpecker. He climbed down off his bookend and went to see what it was that Emily had brought.
A basket. Yes, a basket with things in it. How nice of Miss Emily to bring us a basket with things in it. I'm not at all sure what we're supposed to do with it. I can't see what the things are.
We will see what is in that thing. We will ask it what's in the basket. Take out every single basket. Isn't this a funny-looking thing?
That's a twig broom, a tiny broom made of twigs.
What's it for? What do you do with it? What's it for?
You brush the cobwebs out of the sky, don't you, Madeleine?
That's right. If you can get up high enough, like the old woman.
Eh? Which old woman? Where?
Up in the sky.
Oh, where? What?
We're going to sing a song.
There was an old woman tossed up in a basket 17 times as high as the moon. Where she was going I couldn't but ask it, for in her hand she carried a broom. Old woman, quoth I, where are you going to up so high? To brush the cobwebs out of the sky. Shall I go with you, I by and by?
There's an organ roll here. The marvelous mechanical mouse organ.
There was an old woman tossed up in a basket 17 times as high as the moon. Where she was going I couldn't but ask it. In her hand she carried a broom. Old woman, quoth I, where are you going to up so high? To brush the cobwebs out of the sky. Shall I go with you, I by and by?
It's all very unlikely. This basket couldn't possibly be the one the old woman was tossed up in. If indeed she ever was, and I certainly don't think she could have gone 17 times as high as the moon. That's rather a long way up.
The moon isn't nearly as far away as the sun.
Isn't it, Janie Mouse? How do you know?
My Uncle Henry once went to the sun. Or nearly.
Your Uncle Henry? Oh, he was a church mouse, I think.
Uncle Henry and Auntie Ada. They were church mice. They were very good church mice. They brought in daisies to decorate the church and even sang in the choir, but they had such small voices that nobody ever heard them, and they were very poor because nobody ever left bacon rind or breadcrumbs in the collection for them, or even seemed to know that they were there at all. Well, one day Uncle Henry said he wasn't going to be a poor church mouse any longer. He was going to be a rich church mouse. He was going to make a flying machine out of a little basket and some cabbage leaves, and fly up and scrape some of the gold off the sun with a teaspoon. Auntie Ada said she thought the sun was rather a long way up, but Uncle Henry showed her that it was only just above the weathercock on the steeple. Uncle Henry and Auntie Ada flew their flying machine up into the sky. They flew it above the weathercock and up into the clouds and above the clouds, but however high they flew, the sun seemed just as far away as ever. "The sun is running away from us," explained Uncle Henry. "We must go home." They didn't quite know where their church was, and so by mistake they came down in the bishop's palace beside the cathedral. They were lucky, though, because they were met by an important-looking cathedral mouse who was very wise and learned. He told them that the sun is not made of gold, but of fire, and is 93 million miles away. He also said there was plenty of bacon rind at the bishop's palace, and said the bishop would be happy to invite them to breakfast every day.
They weren't poor church mice any more.
Would this basket fly? This basket here?
No, of course not. Though I suppose it could be made to fly. There must be something that flaps air like a bird's wing does.
I know. Mice, look on the shelf there, behind the blue and white jar.
Come on, look. There are two sort of stick things here. Look.
Thank you. Now, look at this.
Ooh.
Isn't that beautiful?
What is it for?
This is a fan. You flap it and it blows cool air on you to keep you cool in warm weather. Like this. There.
That's nice. That's lovely.
Now, what exactly are you all doing?
We are going to make the basket into a flying machine by fixing these two fans to it.
Well, I don't want to seem discouraging or anything, but I'm not sure that would really work. I happen to be, in my way, something of an expert on the subject of flying machines, being something of an aeronaut myself.
Can you fly, Yaffle?
Well, no, not at the moment, but if you mice will be kind enough to fetch me the little green book, third along from my bookend, I will be able to give you some proper information about flying machines. Yes, that's the one. Careful! Oh, you have dropped it. Oh, well, it'll do there. Now, let us have a look. Where are we? Pratt's Aeronautics. Yes, here we are. Come on, mice, come and look at this. From bits of string and this and that, a gentleman named Percy Pratt made quite a perfect aeroplane, then took it all apart again because it wouldn't fly. He made another one next day. A pity that it got away, and looped the loop above the town, then hurtled back and knocked him down. He sat and wondered why. His next machine, it was the third, he built of feathers like a bird. Flap, flap, he cried, and up I'll soar. I should have thought of it before, there's really no excuse. Just then he gave a mighty sneeze. The feathers, blown off by the breeze, went upwards, downwards, left and right, exactly like a pillow fight, and not a bit of use. "I'll try once more," said Percy Pratt. "If this one doesn't work, that's that." It didn't take him very long to make a plane with nothing wrong from every point of view. It may be true, as people tell, he couldn't drive it very well, and travelled, if I must be blunt, both upside down and back to front. But look at him. He flew. There we are. You see, if you want to know about a particular subject, you must study it in detail. Otherwise you will never make a flying machine that really flies.
This flying machine really flies?
This one? But this couldn't fly. No.
Heave! Heave! Heave!
But it's basically unsound. The whole idea is ridiculous. It can't possibly. Oh.
A clever young mouse, he made a contraption. Flippity flappity up it flies, pulling the handle with delicate action. Flippity flappity up it flies. Oh yaffle, so clever and wise. Look at us, up we're flying. Easy, it's easy, we're only just trying. Do you really believe your eyes?
What's going on up there? What did you say, mice? What?
Oh yaffle, now have a good look. Are you quite sure we are really flying? This isn't the way that they flew in the book. Yaffle, oh yaffle, just use your eyes.
What? There's something odd going on up there. It's a trick. Look, Madeleine, Gabriel, Bagpuss, look, they aren't flying at all. They're on a string. They are being hoisted about on a string.
That's right, Yaffle. You've noticed.
So the mice placed the basket carefully in the corner of the window and left it there, so that if an old woman who wanted to brush the cobwebs out of the sky should happen to come past, she would see it there and perhaps come in to collect it. And so their work was done.
Bagpuss gave a big yawn and settled down to sleep. And of course when Bagpuss goes to sleep, all his friends go to sleep too. The mice were ornaments on the mouse organ. Gabriel and Madeleine were just dolls. And Professor Yaffle was a carved wooden bookend in the shape of a woodpecker. Even Bagpuss himself, once he was asleep, was just an old, saggy cloth cat. Baggy and a bit loose at the seams. But Emily loved him.